Of what?
Invincible.
No, I haven't. Did the second season come out?
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
Oh shit. Okay, so because I've told you where I am, I think so. I'm at the point in the comic where, and spoilers for Invincible, for the first like third of Invincible, the comic, and probably all of the first two seasons of the show. I'm at the point where the most recent one I read was the first one of the Martian arc, not where Invincible goes to Mars, but where the Martians come back to Earth, and they got all the parasite things on their faces and stuff, and they're coming to invade or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Am I still ahead of season 2? Is what I'm asking.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Where did they get to in season 2? And again, massive spoilers for Invincible season 2.
Yes, yes. So right now, the first episode it kicks it off with Angstrom Levy.
That's the first episode. Okay.
That's the very first episode of season 2. They really accelerated that one. But yeah, you see him getting blown up by his machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not, but they don't do the weird like dimension hopping thing yet.
No.
Gotcha,
You
okay.
see him he explains his ability. You get the Maulers in there. You get Invincible stopping them. He says it's Invincible's fault. It's his own damn fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it ends. Is him basically going to a different dimension for a better hospital.
I see. I thought the entire season had dropped. It's just the first one. Gotcha.
It's just the first episode.
Gotcha,
it literally came out yesterday.
So yeah, because I was wondering, like, I think my theory was, I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but I know I told you this. That my thought is that this season will end with the Mark going to that planet and seeing his dad again, and the whole Viltrumite fight on there. That's where I think the season's going to end.
Yeah, see, and then I remember, yeah, we did talk about this because I remember I said that their whole thing about this season was that it's going to be with Angstrom Levy, and so I thought maybe they were going to end it with him, like Invincible being stranded on that
right.
different dimension.
Right. I think that would have made sense. I just think that my thought was they would probably want to end with J.K. Simmons coming back, and that would be a huge season finale, and I think it would blow.
It is. I mean, it's. I think this was like 26. This season's 26 episodes.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, that's why.
They might go way past that then. Never mind.
Yeah, it's like really long. It's like in the 20s. I'm pretty sure.
Let me check IMDb here. I think I saw Robert Kirkman say that he thinks they could do the entire thing in 7 seasons.
Yeah. Maybe there's only 10 episodes.
IMDb says 8. Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing 10. Okay. Well.
Okay. Either way, yeah. So I think if it is 8, then I think like you'd spend the first 4 episodes on the Angstrom Levy stuff. Did they do the Mars stuff initially in season 1, where Mark goes to Mars?
Yeah. They did that.
So maybe they do, like, they might even throw like the Martians coming back to Earth in the first half of season 1 or something, like in between Angstrom getting his machine blown up and then before he does the whole thingy. So I do think they're gonna end with the J.K. Simmons Viltrumite thing. Anyway, Invincible, everybody. It's a good comic. I can't speak to the show, but everybody seems to like that too. So hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics. This is the show where every week we talk about the new comics that came out that week, and we give our thoughts and opinions on them. We have a total of so we're talking about like 6 comics in total today, I think.
Yeah.
Or 7 maybe at the most. Yeah. This week, despite the lack of new stuff coming out, it's a very light week. There is still some pretty sizable stuff. In particular, Ultimate Universe #1, which kind of is setting up the new line of Ultimate comics that are coming out that are starting next year, and then also the finale for Gotham War, which I'm very excited to talk about that. As always, there will be time codes in the description, and there will be full spoilers for everything. Do you think we should start with Ultimate Universe or with Gotham War?
I was gonna say let's start with Gotham War.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So yeah, this is Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War Scorched Earth #1. This is the finale for the Gotham War event, written by Chip Zdarsky and Tini Howard. And then the artists are Nicholas Mezaja and Mike Hawthorne. Crap.
Man, dude.
Okay, I should say this issue is not the worst issue of this event.
No, it definitely isn't.
But I do think it really hammers home the flaws that have kind of played this event throughout the entire thing. Because what even was this event supposed to be about? Ultimately,
it changed so drastically.
Yeah,
like holy cow!
It starts off as being like Selina is recruiting all the thieves, so recruiting all the henchmen from all the other rogues galleries, so that they can go and do thieves, and there aren't like, and so it's not like Joker and Two-Face going around murdering a bunch of people. And instead they're just doing some thievery. And then it ended, and then it just turns into like, oh, Vandal Savage is here and he wants to become immortal again, and he wants to make everybody immortal.
Well, not even that, right? So it went from Selina training these people, right, to basically be more organized in crime or throughout the city, to then basically Batman fighting just his family in general.
Which I think was the highlight of the event.
Yes, no, 100%. To then it going to Vandal Savage, recruiting basically stealing everybody from Selina to make everybody immortal.
It's a fucking mess.
It's a mess, bro. It's just a mess.
That's the thing. Like at the start of this, like the first half, or like because it was total of 9 issues. I would say the first, but the first half was solid. I hate the first issue. But I think 2 through 5 were solid to great.
Yeah, I was about to say after number 6 is where I really was like, okay.
For me it was after the last core Batman issue of this. So yeah, that was the 6th chapter. And it's just like it's wild to me. This felt like it had just absolutely no direction. It was just meandering all over the fucking place. It started so promising. Like this was really by far, in the first half of this is by far the best event that we've covered on the show, I think. But I don't even know how this happens. It's like they had 2. Did they just feel like they had these 2? They had the idea of the whole Catwoman recruiting all the hench people of the other rogues gallery to become thieves instead. It feels like they might have had that idea. And then they were like, "Oh shit, this isn't enough to fill an event. Just throw Vandal Savage in there. I don't fucking care." It's like,
but then like, all right, so like in this one too, the Rogues Gallery, like they all show up, like they like been playing this huge thing where they kept meeting and saying they're gonna get back at Catwoman, and then Vandal comes in, recruits them, and they just show up in the street and just like.
But does Vandal even recruit them, or are they just It felt like to me like they were just acting separately.
No, it was Vandal. Vandal recruited them. I'm pretty sure, like, if I remember reading this right, he recruited them 100%. And then, but like, I don't really understand what their job was.
Yeah, what was the point of them in this? Like, they have a fight, but they don't do jack shit.
They don't do anything. And I was just like, okay, you kept setting these people up. Like, you kept showing them meeting and saying they're going to take their henchmen back. And then what did they do?
I think it probably was just to give the rest of the Bat family something to do so that they would not like just easily crush Vandal Savage. And because I think like if they were all there, we would not have had like there wouldn't have been the. Okay, the other thing about this, there's 2 death fake outs in this issue. And I think they would not have been able to do the second one if the rest of the Bat family had been there, because there would have been somebody would have been able to go and just pull Selina out of the pit. Like there would not have been there would have been too many of them to make that suspenseful at all. That being said, like, why would you have 2 death fake? I think there's 2. I think Jason shows up at the end.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't it him who? I thought what happened was we didn't see this happen on panel, but I think he probably ejected out of the Batwing, and then because we see somebody parachuting down, and then they like put a hand on Bruce's shoulder after Selina, in quotation marks, dies.
I thought that was Damian that showed up.
No, I don't think it is, because Damian was at the fight with the Rogues Gallery.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's why I thought he just like happened to show up at that point.
I don't think it didn't look like Damian to me. Also, where would he have been parachuting from if it was Damian? Like,
well, I don't know. I thought he was like flying in, dude. I don't
know. I think that was Red Hood. I think
okay,
because Jason didn't have his mask in the plane.
No, he did not.
And he looked like he was dressed like tactically like Red Hood would be.
Okay,
so that was my guess. I don't know. That could be wrong, but
no, I might have confused him because Damien's like Robin suit is dark like Red Hood.
Yeah.
Dresses. So that
there was one point where I got Tim and Damien confused in that Roach fight. I was like, who's who in this? But then also like, and then Selena has a death fake out too, and it's like, yes. I don't think any of these guys can be dead anyway. Because isn't Red Hood going to be in that fucking Joker series? It said it was going to be continued into there at the end of the last issue. So there's no suspense. It's just like, I don't know. It's a hot mess of an issue, and that is capping off this hot mess of an event. And I think the art's not very good either, by the way. Not a fan of Mike Hawthorne's art. I mean, I gave this issue a 5 out of 10. And I think that means that after you score it, we'll go into our segment better or worse than Night Terrors, I think.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.
Okay, yeah. So it's worse, right? It's worse than Night Terrors? The event as a whole? Because here's the thing, right? At least, like, yes, Night Terrors was bloated, and there were too many tie-ins, and a lot of them were bad. Again, as I said when we were talking about the fucking contest of whatever it was called.
Contest of Chaos?
Yeah. I think the core series was good for the most part. And also, like, there was clearly a plan from the start. Not to say there wasn't a plan for this. I'm sure there was, but it doesn't feel like it. And, like, Night Terrors had a cohesive feel across that entire core series. And I think that feel even like it's bled out into the tie-ins, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I feel like that cohesiveness and the strength of the core event is enough to put it above this, because I think this was just, again, first half was solid, but I didn't like the first issue in this event at all. And I think it just ended really sloppily, and it felt like it just didn't feel cohesive. It felt like it was two different plots just smushed together to try and fill out this event, when I guess neither of the plots really had enough in them to justify an event. And so, I really loved when Bruce was going against the Bat Family, because like everybody's like, Zuranos tainting your brain and all that stuff. And I think that was really effective and really working really well. But I think that the lack of cohesion in this event just really killed it.
I'm gonna say it was worse. Simply because, right, I'm looking at everything I've rated. And I remember not really liking the first one, but then the ones after that, like specifically the 3 after that, the Batman 137, Catwoman 57, and then the Red Hood, really enjoyed those. But like, it's like you said, like, just the cohesiveness behind everything.
I think Batman 138 was actually the best issue of this event, which is the one after the one you named Red Hood. But yeah, go ahead.
At least with Night Terrors, if it brought us down like one week, it'd pick us up like the next,
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it just felt like after a certain point, it just kept going down.
Yeah, it just never fell off a cliff. Yeah.
It literally just never was able to pick itself back up, and that's really one of the biggest reasons. Like, it started out so strong, and I mean, not to say that like that's a good thing that it starts out strong and then just dies either, but it's just, in the end, I think it's like you said, just Night Terror has better cohesiveness throughout the entire thing.
Well, I think I would be more favorable towards this event if it started rough and then the second half really picked up and was great. Yeah. It would leave you with something, but
at least leave you with something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the finale, the last couple of chapters of this, actively make the first half worse, because it just makes it be like, well, what was the point of any of this fucking shit?
Well, seriously, like, literally, what was the point, right? Because Catwoman didn't die.
Yeah.
They never really resolved their problems.
Yeah, Bruce just leaves at the end of this issue as well. He's just like, all right, Dick, you're in charge of everybody. I'm just leaving now.
Yeah, it's like, that wasn't solved. Zuranol wasn't solved. What else?
I'm kind of glad that Zur wasn't solved here, because I feel like it'll be more effective in the...
No, I mean, I'm not saying, like, it should have been, but I'm just saying, like, that was, like, a big part of this, like, between the whole Bat Family fight was...
Yeah.
Zuranol was taking over Batman. It's like...
Right.
Okay, you left like literally everything wide open and then solved something completely. You guys introduced in the second to last comic. Like, nah, bro. Event as a whole, give it a rating.
5, I think.
Oof, I'm also give it 5.
Next up is Beast World for us. I think that's the next one we'll be talking about. Except I don't know if I think you have to catch up on Titans if you're going to be talking about that one as well. But
yeah, I think so.
That's not too much to catch up on, though.
No, I know.
4 issues or something. Okay. Well, let's move things right along. Let's talk about Blood Commandment #1.
All right.
This is what I made, Sebastian Reed, and
yes, sir.
Yes, this is everything in this comic is done by Szymon Kudranski. So yeah, art, writing. I'm assuming the coloring and the inking as well, because I don't see anybody else listed. So that's pretty cool. So it's essentially it's about a vampire, and he's got a kid, and he's trying to not be a vampire anymore. So he just he does the Twilight thing. I haven't seen Twilight, but I know they do like animal blood in Twilight instead of.
I don't remember, but they do like pouches.
Yeah. So he's sustaining himself off of animal blood, and then it seems like there's another vampire who's trying to track him down. He's out in kind of the wilderness life, in a small town, and then this other vampire seems to come out and be like, "Yo, we're gonna do some fighting now" or something. And that's kind of all the plot that goes on here. But what do you think of the issue?
All right, so without going into without having any knowledge going into it, based off the cover and just kind of like the title, you can kind of put together that it was based off of vampires and stuff. But starting reading it, I thought it was gonna be about the father and the son living in a world where there were vampires, kind of. Maybe the towns
and they were off the grid or something and trying to.
They were okay, so they were kind of living in the wilderness, and that's why the father was kind of teaching the boy how to hunt, possibly. And obviously the kid didn't want to hunt the animals, but then they go into town, right? And the father is kind of looking at the clerk dude, and he had this weird looking vein on his neck, right? And so I thought, okay, maybe they're other people are living in harmony with vampires or something, and they're just feeding off them or something like this. And then they leave, and that doesn't come up again. And then we get to the part where the father is actually a vampire, and he kills the animals and stuff. And that weird vein is just a weird vein.
So as for that weird vein, I don't think it was actually. I think that was just because he's a vampire, he's got the vampire sight, and you're just seeing it from his point of view, is how he sees it. I think that's what that was.
Okay, that makes sense then too. Yeah. But so it seems do you think the vampire that's chasing him, do you think it's the one that turned him, or
could be? Yeah, I don't know though. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to figure out, with the little information we had, why exactly he's hunting this the vampire we haven't seen yet, why he's hunting the father.
Yeah.
Specifically. So, but overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. There's also I don't know if you're seeing this, Sebastian, but there's a variant cover that looks like it's an homage to The Last of Us. So that's something.
Oh yeah, I do see that now.
Yeah. One thing I do say, this is not a complaint of the book. It's just kind of something I noticed that was weird. I don't know if you would have picked this up as you read digitally, but the back cover of this issue is the last page of the comic, which is really kind of weird to me. Yeah,
that is weird.
That point where he's just looking out into the forest, that's the back cover of the issue.
That's definitely weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was pretty good. I think the art looks really great. I think it's a good enough setup for where this is going. I do like how, as we kind of learn that the main character is a vampire, more and more color starts slowly bleeding into the page. Where the first I don't know, 2/3 of this issue is in completely black, white, gray-ish kind of thing. I thought that was cool. And yeah, plot's interesting enough. It looks like next issue there's going to be a bit of a showdown with the vampire initially. It's going to be 4-issue limited series, so not too many of these, but yeah, I don't have much to say on this one, I don't think, but I think it's pretty good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was kind of struggling with what to give it a rating. I think
I'm going 7.
My mind is telling me 8.
Okay.
Let's do Avengers here.
Okay, but Avengers #7. This is it's written by Jed MacKay, and the artist is Carlos Villa, or I believe CF Villa is how he's credited in the issue. The start of a new arc, and if you have listened to the previous episodes, you would know that we were not loving how this series was paced, because it's really decompressed, and it didn't feel like it was the threat of the fucking whatever they were called. Anyway, those people, like, they were built up to be such big threats, but then they ended up being kind of just nothing. And it just felt like a really underwhelming kind of conclusion to that arc. And I think the whole thing as a whole was kind of underwhelming. And also, all the Avengers were split up, so it didn't even really feel like an Avengers book because they were just all doing their own separate fights. Yes. I think this one was definitely an improvement on how that last arc ended up going. Because essentially, we have here the Avengers, there's some big threat thing that was coming down that was like essentially how it's essentially one of those universe ending things. Yes. Where it kills the universe and resets it to the next phase of the universe. So, and that's like, you know, like how Galactus is a leftover from the previous version of the Marvel Universe. And so it's a similar thing. This would end this one and then start the next one. So the Avengers are fighting that, except then it turns out they actually weren't the whole time. They all lose, but they weren't fighting him the whole time anyway. It was actually just Nightmare gave them all a vision. That being said, he's also like, yeah, this is a trick, but it doesn't mean it's not true. And so it seems like this is kind of what this is building up to now. Maybe not in this arc, but this kind of universe resetting event coming up in kind of as a big climactic moment in this run. Also, I realized, as I said this, Galactus at this point is no longer left over from the previous version of the universe. It's actually left over from 2 versions ago, because I forgot that technically Secret Wars reset the universe as well. So, yeah, so there's that as well. But
complicated.
Yeah, I mean, the cosmology of the Marvel Universe is fucked. As is the case with every, like, big, you know, I mean, it's mostly just Marvel and DC, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you get these many characters. So, I do think this is an improvement. I think the art works pretty well. I think there were some really cool splash pages. I do think it's still, like, it's so decompressed. Like, still nothing really happens in this issue, except at the end when Murden and the Twilight Court show up to be like, yo, you couldn't take down Kang, so we're here to do it for you. So that looks like kind of what this arc is actually going to be about. I hope it's paced better than the first one. But I do think, like, this finally, for the first time since, like, issue 2, I think, gave me the impression that, like, okay, yeah, it's the Avengers here. You know, like, they're working together and they're just going. And I love how they're portrayed here in the sense that they just, like, they all know they're gonna die, but they just throw themselves into the fray anyway, because they're like, what else are we gonna do? We're gonna try and save as many people as we can.
Yeah.
And that's, like, the core of the Avengers for me. And so I appreciate that. I do still, one thing I realized while reading this issue is that the Avengers, like, haven't interacted with each other at all on a character level. It's all just, like, it's tricky to explain, because all of this series so far has been plot and not, like, character building or relationships or development or whatever. And yet, despite it all being plot, still nothing is fucking happening. It's a very weird line that's managed to walk.
All right, so my one problem with this, right? So the whole Kang thing, right? That happened before. Him saying this huge enemy is coming. Was that the people from the last arc that he was talking about?
So it partially, yes. He was more kind of talking about, like, hey, the tribulation events are coming. There's more than one of them. The first one is the Impossible City and everybody, and then there's more after that.
Yeah, there's more after that. Okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't remember that part, because I was about to be like, bro, when are we getting this Kang bullshit? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know about this one still.
Yeah.
I didn't entirely enjoy that whole thing with them throwing themselves at this, like, the universe ender problem thing. I mean, I think I don't, like, sure, like, I understand that they really had no other fucking choice. Like, what else are they supposed to do? But, like, I feel like rather than them just being like, all right, I'm gonna go, like, I'm the God of Thunder, I'm just gonna hit it, and I'm, like, this, like, all powerful, like, fucking, like, space person, I'm just gonna blast it and shit like that, and, like, Captain America just literally, like, flew in while being charged up by Wanda's fucking magic. Like, I don't really understand, like, what their plan was. Like, did they really think that was gonna work? But whatever.
I mean, they didn't, though. Their plan was just to hold the line, right? So that's what the Avengers do.
Yeah, much line holding they did. They literally just got swatted away. But Nightmare showing up just out of the blue as well. I feel like it would have been a bit more interesting if it wasn't Nightmare.
See, I disagree because I love Nightmare. Nightmare's my favorite Doctor Strange villain, so I just love seeing him pop up in everything. But
I know.
I'm
I
a little
just
bit
like.
biased, yeah.
I know I knew he was your favorite and stuff. I just feel like if it was like the court people that had done it and it didn't work on Vision because he's an android, obviously, like that would have made a like I think it just would have been a bit more interesting rather than just being like, oh yeah, I'm here now, and then now these guys are here, so I'm dipping. It's like, what? Then why'd you show up in the first place, though? Like, I don't. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think though that could be a part that I think that could partially be. I think he'll probably show up again. Because the way he was doing this, like, this is not really nightmares. I mean, it is kind of nightmares at MO because he does just show up and create nightmares for people. At the same time, he didn't seem like he was going against the Avengers this time. He seemed like he was like, "Yo, get ready, guys. This is coming." He's like, it felt like more like he was warning them. So I feel like we will see more of him and maybe get that explained going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we possibly. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it as much. I guess.
I do think this is better than the way that the last arc ended up. I don't think it's still not amazing, but I did like it generally. I gave it a 7.
I mean, I know I talked a lot of crap about it, but like I didn't like it definitely was better like than the way the last one ended, but I just feel like we're still not going anywhere really, and that's I mean, new arc at this point. So hopefully we get at least fucking more in the next one. Like Jesus Christ, man. But
I will keep going with this even if it's bad. Just like again, as I keep saying, I feel like I should be reading the Avengers book. Like that feels like an important one to be reading.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have plans to drop this anytime soon. I'm still enjoy reading it enough with the art itself. So, but I gave it a 6. Like,
okay,
yeah.
What do I want to go with? I'll go with the Sacrificers. This is for me, Sacrificer number 4. Sebastian has read 2 and 3 now, right?
Yes, 2 and 3.
So this is written by Rick Remender. The artist is Max Fiumara. How are you feeling about the series now? Because neither of us liked the first issue.
No.
And then I talked about the second issue when it came out. Didn't like that one very much.
Didn't like that one that much.
But then I did like 3. We didn't have a show that week, but I did like 3. So where are you at with it?
I didn't mind 2, to be honest. You said it was like I understand why you said it was boring. I could see that, but it gave us a lot more, I feel like, than the first one did. Like the first one, like we really had no idea what the hell was going on. I remember after the first one, we were like, yo, if the second one's not, we don't know about it. But I think the second one gave us a lot more, and it was a lot better in that sense. But then 3 is where it really got me at the end.
Yeah.
With the whole just the whole like sucking the joy out of their heads and stuff,
killing
and
them,
then
and then it was and then that becomes a drink that is fed to the gods.
So I thought that was really interesting, and so that got me hooked. So I'm excited to read the 4th one here. Yeah,
that was before we started recording. Sebastian was still finishing reading that up, so he's like, "Oh my god!" Like when he was getting to that point. So 4. This is my pick of the week. I have really come around to the series. This one has become one of those ones where the more I think about it, the more I appreciate it. And which is interesting in this one because really nothing. Well, okay, not a whole lot happens in issue number 4. To the point where I'm actually able to talk about the plot stuff without really. There's not like a huge reveal like there was in the first or in number 3 that I have to avoid spoiling. Because essentially this is split between 2 scenes, just 2 scenes. The first scene is a really impactful emotional moment where we go back to the society that the bird dude got snatched from in the first episode or first issue.
Okay.
And we see his dad just like mourning, like they're doing like this big celebration with like fireworks and everything. And it looks to be like because they're like, we made it through the sacrifice and now we're celebrating the person who has been sacrificed so that we may all continue to live and have plenty of food and all that stuff. And then his dad is just there like getting drunk and just being miserable. And it's a really good emotional sequence. It's also like it's tricky because like the dad was an asshole as well. Like he was beating up his kid he was about to sacrifice. So like his dad sucked, but also I think it's still like they managed to somehow really carry over the emotion in that sequence, even though his dad was a dick. And then the second part of this, which takes up the more page time than the first part, is we get more of that dinner between all the gods, and the king, who I don't remember his name, I think it's like Rykos or something. He gives a big speech, and then they drink the concoction drink thing, and it turns out that's like a healing, or not a healing potion, but a rejuvenation kind of thing, which makes them all young again. So that's why they do it. And yeah, it's really tightly written. There's a bit of a cliffhanger of like the daughter at the end being like, "Yo, I'm gonna take down this operation" or something. And it's good. It's really tightly written. Again, my problems with the first two were not that I thought it was bad. I think even at the start, there were a lot of really interesting concepts. And I remember saying that when I thought about those first two issues, is like, there's stuff here. Like, a lot of the stuff is really fascinating, and the concepts are really cool. I just don't feel like it's clicking with me just yet. And I'm glad I started with it, though, because I figured it might, and it has now. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I keep kind of hovering between an 8 and a 9 on this. I think I'm going to give it a 9. I do think it was very good. So
all
yeah.
right. All right. So I have read Spirit World number 6.
I did not get around to this one. I said I was going to, and then I didn't.
Yeah. Last one of the series. I enjoyed this one. It was pretty good. We got a lot of new reveals this time. So it starts off with them still fighting the Skeleton Man, and it's between him and the giant spirit lady that they were investigating the entire basically series.
I do vaguely remember that character.
Yes. She would essentially the skeletons against the humans because he wants to kill them and like basically take their life force. No, he wants to kill them for being humans in the spirit world, if I remember correctly. And then the big giant lady wants to kill them and take their spirit force so she can grow stronger, so she can break into where the like underworld gods are. And so what ends up happening is they when they're almost like down on their luck, right? Like Cassandra's getting absorbed. Xanthi and Constantine are getting whacked by the Golden Skeleton Military Man. Basically one of the underworld gods. I'll just say that. And so we learn that Xanthi, they're like half dead, half alive because of an experiment that one of the other gods did that basically made it so that they're half dead, half alive by accident. It was an accident. But yeah, so they use that power to like trap the golden skeleton god, and then they basically just talk to the other spirit and basically is like, "What's your name?" Like, "I'm Xanthi. Who are you?" Like, the main reason why she was attacking in the first place is because the underworld gods weren't really doing their job, from what I understood. Mm-hmm. That they weren't like basically allowing the spirits to pass through and reincarnate and stuff like that. And so they made the deal that since they're immortal and half living, remember the spirit for forever. So she'll never be like forgotten, essentially. And that calmed that spirit down. That made all the other underworld gods angry, and so they came and like were about to like attack Xanthi. But then they kind of put it up to a vote. It was like a half vote. It's kind of more of an argument that settled down to just like an agreement where Xanthi will join the gods so they can make whatever they want with their powers, right? But they can basically do whatever they want as well, like leave freely between like the underworld and the realm of the living. So yeah, that's how this series ended. I really am... In the end, I still don't understand why Cassandra is in here, besides the fact that they just wanted to bring like a mainstream character into it.
Sure, yeah.
But I guess you already have Constantine, so I still don't. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how mainstream Constantine even is at this point, though. He's kind of he feels like a C-list character, and I like Constantine, but I think he's kind of C-level.
Yeah, but like, really, who knows Cassandra Cain, Batgirl?
That's also fair. I mean, if you're a comic fan, you know Cassandra, but
I mean, I obviously know who Cassandra and Constantine are, but like, I don't know. But as a whole, the art is still really great for being like in the like spirit world and stuff. It's super colorful and everything, and just everything is really drawn really well. And yeah, I gave it that's a 7.
Well, that brings us to the finale of this episode already. This is Ultimate Universe #1. It is written by Jonathan Hickman, and then the artist is Stefano Caselli. So this is essentially just a sequel to Ultimate Invasion.
Yes.
And setting up the new line of Ultimate comics that are going to be coming in, starting in January this year, and then continuing throughout the year as well. So we've got, so far what we have announced is Ultimate Spider-Man in January, Ultimate Black Panther in February, and Ultimate X-Men in March.
Yeah.
So this kind of sees it's Tony Iron Lad, and then Reed Richards, who is Doctor Doom in this one, except he's way nicer than both Doctor Doom and Reed Richards usually is. And then they go and recruit Thor and Sif as well, and they try to get Captain America out of the ice, but they don't end up succeeding in that in the end. Yes. At least I don't think they do.
No, they do not.
So yeah, and then it ends up with like them. They end up being like nuked, right, by a Stark satellite.
Not them specifically. They don't get nuked. I don't know what you call that. The people that we saw in Ultimate Invasion that like would vote on like tragedies and stuff. Who are they?
Yeah, I don't remember the name. They're just like the leaders of the continents, though, or whatever.
Yeah. All right. We'll call them leader of the continents. Yeah, sure.
That's a shit name, but it's definitely not their name. But...
It's what it's gonna be. They decided to vote on their next tragedy being caused by Stark because Stark freed Thor and he was trying to like basically undo everything that the Maker was doing.
Yeah,
or did, and so that's they just nuked a city.
Yeah, but I think they also were like, well, let's get Tony out of the picture and Reed out of the picture by just nuking them as well.
But I thought they were in like a space station.
Oh no, they were on the ground. See that like they get fucking. It looks like they get vaporized. Because they were, and then there's that news report where they were like, Tony Stark was in the area. He is presumed to be dead as well.
Oh shit! I totally glanced over that.
Yeah,
maybe they did get nuked.
So yeah, I think they kind of went down as well. I don't know if any of them survived. I would assume that Cap maybe did. Because I only say that because it feels weird to just like put him in this and then he's just immediately gone before he even does anything.
Yeah.
And like maybe Thor made it out. I don't really know. But
he was already gravely injured before they nuked him.
That's true. Because they got stabbed through the fucking chest.
Yeah,
I think this was pretty good. I don't think this is not. I just feel like Hickman works better when he has more time to build up plots and stuff. And so as a result, this didn't really blow me away. I'm really looking forward to his Ultimate Spider-Man, especially since Marco Cicchetto is doing the art, which he's like one of my favorite artists working right now. So I'm really looking forward to that. I also thought it was funny. They announced in Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter and MJ are going to be a married couple, and to me that felt like Marvel just being like, "Hey, everybody who hates the current Zeb Wells run, don't worry, Peter and MJ are together in this one. They're not like MJ doesn't have kids with some other guy." And like, So that was like, I thought that was funny. Actually, despite how big of a deal this issue kind of is in terms of what it promises for the future, I don't have that much to say on this one. I don't think.
Well, I can say I enjoyed this one more than the Ultimate Invasion. Is that what it was? No, what is it? Yeah, Ultimate Invasion comics, mostly because those ones were a lot more talking and setting up for, I feel like, this one in specific. And so I feel like this one was a good culmination of those four into this one, essentially. I finally understand. I feel like this one did like just a way simpler way of explaining what exactly the Maker freaking did, because I was still so lost on what the hell was happening. Yeah, and I felt this one explained it like way better. Essentially, he just like found a universe where like basically went back in time in a sense, and basically just undid every little thing that made the superheroes like super, essentially.
Yeah.
So like he you see in this one the spider that should have bitten Peter for like a split second.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, it was when they went into like that area where like the Maker had all like the vaults and stuff. You saw it in like a small vial. It looked like a spider to me.
Okay,
I don't know. But yeah, and so like Thor wasn't king. He basically Maker helped Loki become king, and Thor was actually a prisoner. And so like Reed was like locked up, and he's now like Doctor Doom essentially, but like good.
Yeah.
Tony's Iron Lad. So I understood it a lot more exactly what the hell Maker actually did, because I was just so lost in Ultimate Invasion. But yeah, I think overall this one did a good job explaining that, and I really enjoyed the story of what they're trying to do now.
Which is essentially just restore all those objects to the people that would have made them,
exactly.
superheroes, yeah.
And so, yeah, we saw Captain Britain again. He's the one that stabbed Thor through the chest. Yep. And, yeah, basically Hulk nuked them.
Yeah, again, I think, like, this is fine, and I am looking forward to what's coming next. This one didn't 100% hit with me. I think I'm the opposite in the sense that what I liked about Ultimate Invasion was the like political scheming and machinations that was going on, and all that dialogue heavy stuff I think was really interesting, and that's why like I didn't really like the finale of that one too much, because it was just a big action sequence that was just like this is the whole thing, and there's explosions, and there's a weird dome over the city now, and everything's cut off for thousands of years or whatever. I was surprised because I figured that what it would be is if a dome would open in this issue. It would be a time jump to when the dome opens, and then we'd see the new Ultimate Universe in there and kind of how it had developed. But that was not the case. So yeah, it's now about 2 months until we get more stuff for the Ultimate Universe. But yeah, this one again, it's good. I don't think it's bad. It just didn't land with me 100%. It's I give it a 7.
I give it an 8.
Okay, well that'll wrap it up for the week. Next week, we have the new issue of Batman. Let's hope that this series continues to be good now that Gotham War is wrapped up. New Birds of Prey. I was not super high on issue number 2. I think if I don't like this one, then I might drop it. Blue Beetle, we got the Dark Ride is back after a couple-month break. Also, for anybody like keeping up with Spider-Man, the Gang War Prelude is this week as well. And that Gods number 2, though, I'm really looking forward to. That first issue was very interesting. We have a new issue of The Punisher. That's probably the biggest thing coming out next week, and not just a new issue at the start of a new Punisher series. It's not Frank Castle as the Punisher this time. It's somebody new. We don't know who yet. So yeah, just at the end of that last Punisher run, he like died and then fucking went to some weird hell dimension or something. So, and he was like leading a crusade to like help the people there try and escape from. I don't know. I don't remember. That series ended in May, so it's been a little while. But the writer I'm kind of mixed on, but the artist I really like, Dave Wachter. So that should be interesting. And then also new Shazam and new issue of Transformers, which tentative spoiler alert for issue 2 of Transformers, but apparently it looks like, we don't know this for a fact, but it seems like it's rumored that Duke from the G.I. Joe universe will be showing up in this issue before his series starts next month. So yeah. Anything you want to call out on yours?
Thanos.
Oh yeah, Thanos number 1. I'm not planning on reading that, but it is coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, well that'll do it for this week. It's a little bit shorter than normal, so yeah. Thanks everybody for watching or listening here. If you are on YouTube, you can leave the video a like, and you can also subscribe to the channel, and you can give us a comment as to what you think about the new comics that have been coming out. You can also hit the bell notification if you would like to be notified when we post new videos. If you're on Spotify and you want to talk to us about the new comics, you can email us at earthsmightiestcomicspod@gmail.com. That's all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earths. And you can also follow the show over there, which is the way that you will know when we upload new episodes on that platform there. And so, yeah, once again, that wraps it up for this week. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you all next week.
Bye-bye.